Welcome to the Endless Gap Year podcast, your weekly advice podcast from two moderately successful or barely holding it together Zillennials.
Hello everybody, it's Bryn and Kira. We're back again for another podcast, and this week we are talking about
Moving out of home at 18. As you can see, we are scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Nah, I don't think so.
So both of us moved out when we were 18 pretty much, but we had quite different experiences doing so. What was your experience like, Kira?
So I guess I've moved out of home twice. The first time I did it was pretty hectic, I must say so myself. I moved 8 hours up the coast from my hometown in the middle of my HSC with my boyfriend at the time. And I lived there for 3 months. And then I moved home again.
So then lived foray out of home.
Yeah, it was a nice, quick experience, hit of reality. And then I was like, no, I need mum to do my washing still. And so I moved back home. But now I've just recently moved back out of home again, only 4 hours away from where I grew up, to do a season at the snow, as you would have heard from last week's episode.
Yeah. How have you found it different moving out of home now?
I think it's a bit more organised. So the first time I moved out of home, it was a very quick decision. Well, this one was too, but I had to take into account the other people in the equation. So now this time it's just been me, and I've already done it once, so I know like what to pack, what I need, what you really need in a new house, how to do some things myself, like how to cook some meals, how to do my own washing, how to clean up, and I don't know, just care for yourself really. So I guess the first time moving out of home really gave me an insight into what I really needed, and it threw me in the deep end. So this time was a lot smoother.
Yeah. So I had a quite different story. I guess I moved out of home pretty much the week after my HSC finished. And I backpacked Europe for a bit, and then I lived with a family as an au pair, and then I lived like just in London in house shares and stuff. Then when I came back to Australia, I lived with Lewis and one of my friends for the first year, and then just with Lewis pretty much ever since then. But I haven't come back to home since leaving. Like, I've come back to visit, obviously, but I haven't moved back for any extended period of time. So yeah, my story is quite different in that way. But I didn't find it difficult to move out of home, I didn't think.
Yeah, I was just about to ask, did you think it was difficult moving out of home?
No, I could already cook before I moved out, because I often cooked stuff for myself when I was like in the last years of school. And I could already do my washing and stuff. Like, there were a couple of things that maybe I had to ask mum if there was like something made out of like a special fabric, like cashmere or something. I'd ask her how to wash it, but that was pretty much it. I don't think I had to ask mum for necessarily help about those things. My mum then did own the house that I lived in, so I had to ask her for help when things broke then, because it was her house. But apart from that, I haven't really had to do anything like that. What about you? Did you find it difficult?
No, not really. I think even the first time I moved out of home, I didn't find it that difficult. I think the situation I was in was quite difficult. But like just the basic tasks of like doing your washing and really like caring for your own home and caring for yourself by yourself wasn't that difficult. And I think that comes down to our mother drilling it into us that when we leave home, we'll need to know how to do our own washing and make our own meals. And I don't know.
I did that at home growing up.
Pardon?
Like, I don't think I ever did a load of washing at home.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't know if they use the washing machine at home. I'll be
Oh
honest.
my. Okay, we're on different pages here.
Yeah, but that's because you still live at home sometimes now, so then you do the washing for mum when she's not there, don't you?
Well, before I moved out of home the second time, I really wasn't at home much because I was working so much. But I think I would just be scared of mum getting mad at me for not knowing how to use the washing machine, that I would just learn to use it.
I never had to use it. I was never asked to use it.
That's because we didn't think you could use it, so we just never asked you.
I don't think it was that. I don't know. I just never did it.
But I also think that well, I don't know, for me, I reckon my like the jobs I started out in also have helped me a lot while moving out of home, because they've just taught me practical skills, because I worked in hospitality. So they've taught me practical skills about cooking and cleaning and, you know, stuff like that. And I think that's really helped.
Yeah, I think that's also important.
What do you reckon for you?
I didn't really, jobs I had weren't necessarily in hospitality in the same way that yours are. Like, I did work in a restaurant, but we didn't cook any, like, I didn't do any of the cooking. I had chefs who did the cooking. And I would keep my home cleaner than the restaurant was kept, I have to say. And apart from that, I worked on a dairy, so there was no crossover between my home and what we did on the dairy. And like, I worked in a hostel, and that was also, none of it was like, it just wasn't similar at all, I don't think.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I've had quite different jobs to you, I think, in that respect. So no, I don't think I learned anything at my job, but I definitely, I don't know, like, I cooked a lot for myself when I was in the last years of school, because I just wanted to make different things sometimes. Like, I'm vegetarian, so sometimes I would eat different stuff to what everyone else was eating. So I think that I had to learn to cook in that way.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you did struggle a little bit, don't you think? Like, moving to London having with other people, or...
Yeah, I think that some of the things that I struggled with weren't necessarily about the moving out of home bit and like not being with my parents, being able to do things. It's about, like, it was difficult to move so far away from home, especially when things went wrong. That was quite challenging. But I think that the thing that I had the most difficulty with was living with other people and the way that other people do things. Because I feel like I have a very set way of doing things, and I have OCD, and I like diagnosed OCD, not just me being like, oh yeah, I have OCD. But there are very specific ways that I need to do things. Otherwise, it's very upsetting for me. It causes a lot of anxiety. And obviously, when you live with other people, you can't feasibly ask them to clean everything that they bring from outside when they come inside the house, and take all of their clothes off and put their inside clothes on after having a shower, and not sit on all of your furniture and everything, unless it's related to you or they're your partner. And even then, it's still difficult for Lewis to have to deal with this all the time. But yeah, that was the most difficult thing, was having people who do things differently to you in your home doing things.
Yeah, for sure. I think living with other people is definitely something I've discovered moving out for the second time. Because when I moved out the first time, I was just with my partner. So things that I didn't like him doing, I could just tell him and it would be okay. And also on the same page a lot with the cleanliness of things, which was good. But now living with a whole different array of people and a lot more people, I have definitely discovered the little things that make me annoyed.
But this might also be an us problem, that we can't tell other people we live with.
Yeah. I think definitely I can see how I've developed them growing up in the environment I did.
Yeah, but I think that what I mean by it's an us problem is that we can't tell other people that the things are upsetting us. Because do you tell the people? I
Yeah,
just
I do.
internalize it. Oh, okay, I just internalize it a lot and get very upset about it internally.
But I think if they were different people, I wouldn't tell them. But because they are the certain people, like, I don't know, it's different
My
with
leg.
everyone.
That's why
Pardon?
I have something in my leg. That's why I'm looking down.
Oh.
I don't know. I have like a big, like a bite. Anyway, sorry. Continue. If there are
No,
other people.
I'd finished, yeah.
Okay. Mum's telling me about the jumper. Last episode, Kira was wearing a jumper that I thought was mine. And that I didn't know if I actually wanted it or not, and I didn't know whether I'd thrown it out or not. Turns out I'd thrown it out. So that's the end of that story.
Yeah, it's mine now.
That's okay. I realise I don't want it because I don't think it was the most flattering jumper on me, if I'm honest.
Well, it's not really flattering on me, so I can get that, yeah. That's
Turtlenecks are just unflattering.
They,
Unless you have a super long neck. Maybe we
or
don't
just
have long necks.
chisel jawline.
Yeah, but like I feel like it's just too thick. It's the problem. Like it goes all the way up to my chin, whereas on other people it's like down here.
Yeah.
Also, they feel yucky on my neck. So
Yeah, that one feels
for
right.
so many reasons, I didn't want it.
Yeah.
So yeah, what do you think you're going to continue living out of home, or do you think you'll end up moving back with mum and dad?
I think for the next few years I'm gonna live out of home, but sporadically. I feel like I'm
Out of home.
pardon?
Periods in and out of home, I said.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be doing seasons, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think that if you went to uni or something like that, you would live with other people, or you'd try and get a flat of your own, or like a studio or something? What do you think you prefer about when you live outside of home?
I really like living with, like, it just depends on who the people are, I really think. I love living with the people I'm living with right now because they're my friends. Like, it's just like coming home, having a great chat with your friend. Like, it's all fun. I don't know.
Do you know what's really interesting about us?
Hmm.
Now as an adult, I am very introverted. As a child, you were very shy, and as an adult, you're very extroverted, or not extroverted, but you're like more interested in being around people.
Yeah.
I think that's so interesting. Like as a kid, people always were like, "Oh my God, Bryn's so talkative." Like I would always be,
Yeah.
talking
I
to
would.
people, always doing things, and you would be like hiding behind mum.
Mhm.
Like I distinctly remember you doing that.
I would hide behind her legs, yeah.
Yeah. Which really says something about your height at the time, because mum doesn't have much leg to hide behind. But yeah, like now as an adult, I like, regardless of who I'm living with, I don't like sharing at all.
Really?
I find it can be very overwhelming with, like, if I've been outside all day, my social battery's already done. I'm like, I do not want to come back and just be around other people. Even if they're people that I really like being around, it can just be exhausting for me. And it's different. Like, Lewis is different because Lewis is my partner, and he doesn't really count. He's just like once he said this, he was like, oh, I say that, he was saying something. Oh yeah, I say that to you because it's just like you're an extension of me. And that's what it's like when you're with someone. It's like you spend so much time around them that they just blend in, I suppose.
Yeah. In the nicest way possible, that is the truth.
Yeah, but that's, like, I mean it in a nice way. It's just you become so comfortable with them that it's fine being with them because you can just literally ignore them for hours if you don't feel like you can socialize.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you live with friends, there's sort of like an expectation in a way that you socialize. I don't know. Do you feel like living in share houses?
I think I did originally. And then someone said to me, just go to your room. And I was like, oh. But I also think I genuinely don't really go to my room much.
Yeah. Do you feel like you have a very social share house?
I think we do, definitely. Even though we work together and literally spend the whole day together, we'll still come home and talk to each other. But I think if it was just us, it would get a bit annoying. But because we invite like our different friends,
right?
Yeah. But we are definitely very social because we spend so much time together. We're pretty much like siblings now. So there's never a day where I'll come home and just go straight to my room. I'm always like sit on the couch with them, have a chat, like. And I don't feel like I'm forced to do that. I feel like in some share houses, you're like forced to like ask how their day was, you know.
Yeah, I feel like that was my experience with my first share house when I was living in London. When I lived with my friend Sophie, like that was different because we've been friends for so long, and like Sophie at times is also just wanting to be quiet, which I like in a person.
Yeah.
And I felt like we could be more comfortable around each other to not have to socialize and like be around each other. But yeah, in the other share houses I lived in 2 different share houses, and one of them, people were like, everyone was social, and like I felt somewhat comfortable socializing with them, but there was always like the expectation that you would go and socialize in a way, so I kind of felt forced to do it. But in the other share house I was in, I never socialized at all because like people just weren't in the house, and like in the lounge room there was a PlayStation and that was it. Like I would go and sit in the lounge sometimes and no one would be in the lounge, and they'd get into the lounge at like very odd hours, like late at night on the weekends when I was like, I just want to be in bed. Or if I was working a night time, they would, obviously no one's there at midnight on a Tuesday sitting in the living room.
Well,
or if I was working a daytime, by the time they got home after work and after doing whatever they were doing after work, I was then like, I've just been socializing with people all day. I've come home, I've been home for 5 hours, and I don't want to now go out and be social again.
Yeah. That's fair enough. I feel like in our share house, like everyone's on the same page. So although we've all just been at work talking so much, we're still going to go home and talk even more, you know, like we've been put into this situation, like we're all like just doing a season, just here like to have fun. We're all pretty much the same age, here to go out, like, and our time schedule is pretty much the same as well. So I guess, like, I think I know other people living here for the season, when people do have, like, different jobs, they'll still socialise, but it would, I think it's different, like, if you've done different things throughout the day.
Yeah, kind of. I think because, it depends a lot on schedule as well. Like, if people have to get up at 5 a.m. every morning, they're probably going to be sitting on the lounge talking at 1 a.m.
Yeah, we definitely are.
I think
we've got to get up at 5 o'clock though.
Pardon?
We've all got to get up at 5 o'clock, so we're like,
right. Yeah, maybe that's other people. I need sleep.
Well, like I feel like doing a season, you're not going to do a season unless you're an instructor and you're really serious about skiing. You're not going to do a season and not want to go out and party and stay up late and talk to people, you know?
I would probably still do it and not do any of those things.
Yeah, okay.
But that's just because I'm not interested in those things. But I am interested in the snow, which is the reason I'd be there.
Yeah.
But I get it. It attracts a certain type of person. And I'm not the person it attracts, typically.
Yeah. Pretty much. But anyway.
That's just because I'm not into that stuff. I think that this is now basically the end of the episode.
I'm really good talking.
Yeah. So thank you guys for watching the podcast again, or listening to the podcast, or absorbing the podcast, whatever you want to say. We will be back again next week, chatting about something interesting, possibly interviewing someone. Who knows? Anything could happen. This is not a planned thing. What can I say? Please follow the podcast on whatever platform you're listening on our Instagrams. Most of the people who listen to the podcast know Kira, so tell Kira I'm in person. Yeah, that's basically it. We'll see you guys next time.
To all my friends that listen, and that's everyone. Goodbye.